Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Welcome to another edition of Living Simply and Fun. I'm your host, Aries, and Aaron's right there in the kitchen. So, go ahead, Aaron.
It's Chef Aaron today. This here is a prime rib. It's not really prime because that's a designation of the USDA for the best cuts of meat. This is actually really what you call a rib roast. And as you see, it's essentially a rib steak. This would be a boneless piece, and this would be a rib steak with bone in, because the bone's right there. So, when buying a prime rib, the first thing you want to do is make sure that they cut the top part, the meat part, away from the bone. You do not want the bone connected. You want them separate and then tied up like so with twine. This is cooking twine, so it's safe in the oven. Now, the other thing you want to do is bring this to room temperature before cooking it. It's very important because if you don't have it at room temperature, it's not going to cook proper. And if you don't cook it with the ribs tied on, it won't cook proper. And if you try to separate the ribs after cooking it, you're going to end up having it start to peel right in here and right in here where the fat lines are. So, now,
just to let you know, this is just one of many blocks we have in our freezer.
One of two.
More.
We have one for Christmas too.
And New Year's and New Year's Eve. Remember.
So, the first thing you want to do is you do not want to salt this. Salting it will end up drawing the juices out, and you want as much juice as you can get out of this when you cook it.
So tell them what that is.
This here is, I can't believe it's not butter spray. I don't like the spray on anything else, but it works well here because it's really hard to spray butter on the ends, because you want a nice layer of butter. Or
not margarine.
This will help the ends cook and give it that flavor that you really want. I'm not going to tilt it on end for the other one because I want the butter to stay in place. So, you saw how one side was done, and all I'm doing is the second side. Now, you don't put any water in the pan or anything like that. Just butter the ends. Plain and simple. Now, you want your oven set at 450 degrees, and that is only for the first 15 minutes. After that, you'll reduce the temperature to 325 degrees, and you'll cook it for about 2.5 hours for 4 blades. For each extra steak rib bone that you have, you'll add a half hour or subtract a half hour. So if I had 2, it would be an hour and a half. If I had 7, it would be 3.5 hours. Now the other thing is you need a good meat thermometer. One of these.
And make sure you get a good one, because those ones there...
This one's actually a crappy one.
Yes, because there's sometimes oil and water gets into it after cleaning.
You're going to want to stick it in the thickest part, through the fat, and down into the meat, but not all the way down to the bone. And you're going to want this to read between 350 and 450, depending on whether you want it medium well to well done.
We usually like ours medium well.
I think it's 325 if you want rare. Now, my oven's not preheated yet, so you won't catch me putting this in the oven yet. Oh, and the other important thing is baste the ends every half hour while it cooks.
With butter, right?
With drippings. Now, this here is for Yorkshire pudding. I'll show you how to make the batter later on in this episode. But
it'll be broken in separate episodes because of the camera.
Yes, you won't see this other part, though, which is why I'm showing this. There's drippings that'll end up in the bottom of the pan. Now, each one of these, you put about 1 tablespoon of drippings in here. Then at 450 degrees, you stick your drippings in the muffin pan in the oven. You bake it for about 5 minutes till it's got smoke coming off of it. You want smoking hot oil. And then you'll take the batter and you'll pour about, 2/3 full.
He'll explain it in a video.
Well, no, I won't, because I'll make the batter and they won't ever see me make this. So you'll end up doing 2/3 of the cup full to 1/3 of the cup to 2/3 full of batter, and you're going to want to pour it in as quick as possible because you want the cold batter to hit the sizzling hot oil before the oil starts to cool. And then you throw it in the oven for about 20 minutes And then when you're done with this, you let this sit for about 20 minutes. So you'll catch me up later when I make the batter, or after we're done, and I'll show you how to make the Yorkies.
And you'll have a lot of drippings on hand for tomorrow's leftovers, because for 3 days in a row we did that with our prior leftovers.
And if you don't have enough drippings, you can add butter to the drippings. So, all right, stay tuned for part 2, which I'll do later, and I'll add. I'll show you this coming out, how to cut it and everything, and I'll show you how to make the Yorkies.
Alright, so please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. And please add us as a friend if you like. Thank you and have a nice day.